Here we are live, Sunday night, 9 p.m. As promised. Let's see how many people get notified tonight. Here we go. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Rach. Hey, Wendy. Happy Sunday, Tracy. Hey, Mary Hammond. Good evening, Laura. What's the topic today? Well, I got a couple of things to talk about. Let me talk to myself. I do that anyway. I do it all day long, actually. Actually, you should practice doing that. Talking to yourself is actually kind of cool. Good to see you too, Kate Peef. Uh, hey, Dabs. No, Tracy. Actually, the weather's doing much better. She's like asking, "Are you buried in snow in New York?" Not bad at all right now. It's actually doing real well. It's melting. Thank God. I'm so sick of it. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Sandra. Oh, I'm glad you got notified. That's cool. I said eventually. I don't know. What did it take me? 2 years. I said for 2 years. Eventually, I'll go live on Sunday nights. But I picked the time 9 p.m. So and I actually put it on a couple of posts, so I didn't have a choice. I had to make sure I went live on a Sunday night at 9 because I put it on a few posts. So, hey, Linda. Oh, Scruffy664. Okay, cool. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Building Connections on YouTube. Good to see everybody. Yes, I hope we're done with the snow as well, Stacy. I'm so sick of it. I used to go skiing a lot when I was younger, and I went skiing when I was an adult one time with my daughter. And we had a really good time. But that was the first and last time I've gone in the last 20 years. Oh, wait a minute. Shit. 33 years. It's so funny because I always talk about being an avid skier, but I technically haven't skied in 30 years. That's so funny. It's amazing how fast time goes, right? Uh hey Deborah, you had thunder and sleet in Kansas? All right, Dorothy. Hey Marie. Hey Abu. So it is good to see everybody on a Sunday night. Okay, so Linda Kelly just wrote, "My 30-year-old son tried snowboarding for the first time yesterday." I have a quick story for you. So when I did go with my daughter, we went up to Hunter Mountain, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with Hunter Mountain in New York, but the spokesperson for Hunter Mountain is actually his name is Paul Pepe, and he's a really good friend of mine. He's 92 years old now. Um, Amazing man. Actually, I think he's older than that. He might be 93 at this point, but he used to do all the ads for Hunter Mountain back when I was a kid, and he would pretend he was in a helicopter, and he'd be like, "This is Paul Pepe from Hunter Mountain," and he would talk all about the ski slopes and the snow. So he did all the marketing for Hunter Mountain, and to this day, I'm very good friends with him. I was very good friends with his son. Um, and there's a long story there, and someday I'll tell that story, but at the moment, it's really about skiing. But I decided to go up to Hunter Mountain with my daughter when she was probably like 13 or 14 years old, and she said, "I wanna go snowboarding." And I said, "Okay, let's do snowboarding." So we went out and we got all the stuff, and I used to ski a lot. I do not suggest, if you're an avid skier, to try to switch to snowboarding. I feel like you need to start fresh with snowboarding. Not a good idea if you're a skier. Um, we went up the hill. I thought, how hard could it be, right? Oh my god. I must have hit the back of my head about 16 times, and it was brutal. It was just absolutely brutal. We were terrible at it. We sucked. It was not fun at all. And at the end of the time that we spent snowboarding, the last time I fell, I hit my head so hard in the back that my lower jaw like shot backwards. My bite was off. My bite was literally off for about 3 days. But right after that fall, I heard my guides go like, "You're done. Like, that's it." I was like, "All right, honey, we're finished." I said, "You know what? We'll just finish this hill and we'll be done for the, done snowboarding." And I literally heard in my head, "Go ahead, stupid." I'm not kidding. That's exactly what I heard. I heard, "Go ahead, stupid." Meaning like, "Are you think you're gonna go vertical again on this thing?" So I said, "You know what? That's it." I went belly down. I put my belly on the board and we just worked our way down to the bottom. Now, great story here because it's a it's about how you look at the situation, right? So when we got to the bottom of that hill, she was miserable. My daughter was absolutely miserable because it was like half the day was wasted. We couldn't snowboard for shit. We both were just absolutely terrible at it. And she had never skied before. So I said to her, I go, "How about we just go skiing?" And she's like, "I don't know." So we had to go rent skis and we did all that and we got on the ski lift and we were working our way up. Now, I don't know if you've had a teenage daughter, but at the time, it's hard to keep one in your proximity while you're having a deep discussion with them. They kind of walk away. So, I mean, my sons did that too, but my daughter she's very headstrong. And we were on the ski lift. So we were stuck together for the next like 5, 6 minutes going up that hill. And we had this very, very long and like emotional conversation about energy. And I said to her, "You have two options right now. You either continue this day in a miserable mood because of what took place and what happened, or we shift that energy right now before we get off the ski lift and we do things differently." Well, she shifted her energy before we get off the ski lift and we ended up having a great rest of the day. Were we great at skiing at the moment? No, not so wonderful, but a lot better than snowboarding. And it shifted the energy. Then the next day we skied the whole day. So it was a great shift. So, you know, we always refer back to that day. Whenever she's doing something and she's in a bad mood or she can't get herself out of a rut, she always remembers back to that day, taking that 5 or 6 minutes and, like, talking to yourself, recognizing that the only person that can shift this mood is you, and she shifted it. So, it was kinda cool. It was a great lesson, yeah, very great lesson. Alright, so I gotta bring up something real quick. I was, scrolling through, YouTube before I went live, and I actually started to get a little depressed. Somehow I got down the rabbit hole of the old TV shows. They're, like, showing the actors from the old TV shows that are, like, the age they were when the show came out and then the age they are now, if they're actually still around. If they're not still around, they put, like, wings behind them. I don't know if any of you have ever seen those. Has anybody seen those at all? They're depressing as hell. They're absolutely depressing as hell. I don't I get emotional watching them because, like, 90% of the people on there are dead. It's like they're not here anymore. And it's like, I used to watch this show all the time and, like, they had on All in the Family. I just saw Charlie's Angels, which thank God most of them are still here. Uh, what was the other one I saw? Cheers. We had uh, The Munsters, The Adams Family. But all these shows I used to watch, Archie Bunker, All in the Family, right? When I was a kid. And oh, they had MASH on. That was the saddest one because I used to watch MASH as a kid all the time. And it's like, it's just brutal. And here's the killer. They weren't that old when they passed away. The actors were not that old. A lot of them passed away in their early 60s. And I was like, wow, that's kind of depressing, you know? Actually kind of depressing. Yeah, MASH was the best, right, Debs? Yeah, I love MASH. Alf? Yeah, I didn't see anything about Alf. But yeah, that kind of knocked me for a loop. I was like, wow, I'm getting emotional watching this. Yeah, Sarah, it is a reminder that time flies. It really does. And I hope that it's a great lesson for me and everybody else that was watching that or sees it. Kind of sad. But the killer was they were not that old. And here's the other part that killed me. Some of the actors back then were old in a young body. I don't know how to explain that, but, like, they were, like, 47 or 52 years old, like the Golden Girls or, All in the Family even, like Archie Bunker. He was, like, 48. Archie Bunker was, like, 48, 49 years old. And I'm like, "What? That's impossible." Like, I don't know what's happening, but people are getting younger as they get older now. It's crazy. But, like, even the Golden Girls, they were in their, like, early 50s, and they don't look like they were in their early 50s, no offense, but everybody seems to, be looking younger or acting younger. And I know haircuts make a difference, I know clothing makes a difference, but energy makes a difference too. And you're only as old as you act. That's key, and I act like an ass, so I'll stay young. Yeah, they did look older back then. It's kinda crazy. Yeah, but that was the one thing that got me, today. I was doing a bunch of, posts and stuff like that, getting stuff in the chamber for, when to post. I did post if you're watching my last live, um, I did a faux pas, you know, regarding a particular dog breed, and, I made a post out of it. I put it up on TikTok. It's already in the chamber to go, live on here in a couple days, but, you'll see it. It's kinda funny. But, yeah, it was not more not one of my proudest moments. It was kinda funny, but I was like, "Oh, man." But, if you were watching that, I know my sister's got a laugh out of it. But, yeah, it'll be coming up on here soon. Yeah. Yeah, take a look. It's on there. If it's on TikTok, you'll see it on TikTok. I posted it today. It's getting a good response because it's funny. Nobody said death has to be boring, and nobody said death has to be always about sadness, you know? I know our loved ones on the other side want us to laugh. They want us to be good. They want us to be happy, and I know happiness is a state of mind. And when people ask me like, "Am I gonna be happy?" And I always say, "Well, you might be happy today and then sad tomorrow. It is a state of mind. It changes daily. Some things make you happy in the moment, then some things can take that right out. They just suck the wind right out of you and then you're sad again. So it's really about what you choose to make it. Okay, so somebody saw the spoon one. Okay, so that's from a movie, The Matrix. And in the movie, The Matrix, it's about the theme of that movie is that we all live in like a program, and a certain few people can break out of the program and then they can see the real life or what things really are. So machines run the world, and in the Matrix it's almost like being in a movie, and they just like it's a regular life, but realizing that it's not real, that's what it's about. And the little boy in there with the bald-headed little boy was kind of explaining to the main character Neo, in the movie, that things are not real, things are not what they seem. So trying to bend the spoon is not worth your effort because it's not real. So in your mind, you could bend the spoon. So the clip is not long enough, but after a while he stares at the spoon and it starts to bend over. So I did a little joke around it. Like I was trying to, do it manually because I got frustrated with my brain. So that's where that came from. C. Carls, are out of body experiences real? And does that happen during death too? Out of body experiences are very real. A lot of times we do that when we're sleeping, which is called astral projection. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. How many people here have dreams of themselves flying? I'm going to ask you to do a show of hands this time, or a thumbs up. Like, how many people have ever had a dream that you were flying? It's still writing me, huh? Okay, we're going to go with that. Happy wrote yes. I did only once. Okay. Falling, not flying. Okay, that's common. I used to as a kid, not anymore. That's very, very, very common, Rach. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to fly all the time. Um, that's called astral projection, and it is real. You do leave your body. I can actually say to people that I really, truly feel like I know what it's like to fly. like as a bird. I feel like I know what it's like to fly. I know they were dreams. I know they were my higher self leaving my body at the moment. And like, I used to like go around my house in my dream, and I would fly over to my neighbor's house and then fly around their house and then come back home. The thing was, I didn't fly like a bird. I had to flap my wings. I had to flap my arms. So what I would do is flap my arms really hard, and then I would be able to like gain altitude, and then from there I would coast. And when I coast down, that's how I would fly. So I basically glided. I didn't really fly. I wish I could do it like Superman, but no, I had to. Of course, I have to work for it, and that technically does mean for me that I have to work for everything I do. It doesn't come easy for me, so I had to flap my wings, so to speak. But it's actually real if you've done it. And some people, they have that once in a while. Some people are in planes, um, or they're in a helicopter. If you've ever been in a plane or a helicopter, that is a form of astral projection as well. But your brain can't comprehend the fact that you could actually do it, so they put you in a plane. Tammy, I'm really happy that you didn't have to flap your arms. That makes you better than me. Jeanette, I was always trying to get away from something or someone. That's common as well. I still have those. Yeah, but astral projection is definitely real. Okay. Yep. They wanted to make me work, Carls. Do I feel heavy after I wake up after? No. No, not at all. That's smart, Jenny. I'm gonna show them that I can. That's cool. So, Beth Kaplan, I'm usually in a group of people and show them that I can lift off the ground. That's cool. I like that. Yes, Lynn, sleep paralysis is definitely real. That's when like your consciousness wakes up before your body does. Um, and you kind of like you can't move, even when you want to scream, like you're like, "Ugh," like you just like you're like screaming in your head and you can't get the words out. But it's like your consciousness wakes up before your body. And that's quite common as well. Sleep, yeah, do you have a lot? You have it a lot? Okay. My worst case of sleep paralysis was I was sleeping in my last house that I had, and I was in the bed, obviously. And in the bed, in my dream, I was facing toward the fireplace. In other words, my head was not on the pillow. My head was facing down toward the foot of the bed. And I was on my right side, and the door to my room was to the left in front of me. And in my dream, the door flew open, and some old guy, like bald-headed old guy, walks in like he knew the place and looks right at me and says, "There you are." Startled the crap out of imagine being in your bed and somebody actually doing that, like blowing your door open and then they're going like, "There you are," like that, like they were looking for me, and scared the crap out of me. I woke up and it was I literally could not move. I woke up and I was like, "Ugh," like I couldn't get the words out fast enough, but it was like almost like a yelp or a scream, and I kind of woke up and took my pillow and threw it in that direction because I was like, "What the hell is this guy doing in my room?" And the weird part was I was actually facing the exact same way I was in my dream. I was not with my head up by the headboard. It was down by the footboard, same angle, and I was facing toward the door. And I didn't realize that until a few minutes after it happened. I was like, wow, wait a minute, that's weird. I was actually facing that direction. To this day, I have no idea who that man was. I thought maybe I was going to get some news about somebody or something like that, but no clue. And that when that happened, that was like when I had to deal with my guides, like no more interruptions like that. I don't want anybody walking in my room when I'm not, that's not happening. I have like a no touch rule and a no, like a no scare rule. Like nobody's showing up out of nowhere. Sandy, I'm starting to feel left out. I've never had any of this happen. It's okay, Sandy. Not so great sometimes. What causes it? Not enough sleep aids. Take a little a little Robitussin overnight medicine, or, take a little, what's the one that makes everybody flip out? Um, what's that, oh my god, I can't believe NyQuil. Take a little NyQuil. Watch what happens. Okay, that's pretty, Granizana. I see wake up spiders. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people have a reaction to melatonin. I don't. Ambien's bad. No Ambien. That's bad stuff. All right. Jackie Marie, eat a banana before bed. Wild dreams. I I'm I'm finding hard to believe. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people have bad reaction to melatonin. Hmm. It's not the first time I've heard that either. Some of these questions are just off the wall. everybody's, everybody's revealing their nighttime routine. So I'm going to say it. Dabs, a couple of sips of wine and a crack of Benadryl and a half. Nancy Drew 444, melatonin gives nightmares. Yes, it does. Well, it does. Like I said, I've never had a problem with it. Um, this is funny. Okay, what's the weirdest thing people take before they go to bed? Come on, fess up. Magnesium, I-threonate, nighttime therapy, AGA, CBC, tincture, nothing. Oh, good for you, Tracy. Mm. Gummies, yeah, a lot of people take gummies. 4 Benadryl, wow. Popcorn, all right, Nancy. Xanax, yep, that's a common one. Melatonin, Jenny. Um, yeah, it's a good point, Steph. I'm wondering how many people take their nighttime meds when I'm live. Because if you've watched me on TikTok, you know that we get the sleepers on there. So I'm wondering how many of them actually take something before they go to bed. Camel milk. All right. Tracy, ASMR. Yes, dabs. I still get sleepers. I have one in the chamber. I'm gonna post it probably in about 3 or 4 days. But my last one that I had was out of just off the wall loud. It was hysterical. And it just blows the whole theory out of water that women don't snore. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I mean, we know men snore. I can't get it. My son won't even like if we go someplace together, like he's like, "Can I get my own room?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "You snore really loud." I'm like, "No, I don't." He's like, "How would you know?" I'm like, that's true." But I know men snore. We have no problem with it. But yeah, you definitely snore. There's no doubt about it. I have proof. I have a lot of proof actually. Who said such a thing? That's great. All right, let's do a little Q&A. Anybody have any questions regarding anything metaphysical, anything psychic, anything that you want to know about regarding the work? Fire away. And then I'm going to do a reading, okay? Yeah, I'm going to do a reading tonight. Definitely. I'll do one in the comment section. Well, I don't have an option. It's either the comment section or nothing. So I'll be doing a reading. So let's do like 3 or 4 questions. And I want to do questions regarding dabs. Great question. Ouija board. Bad idea. Listen, my issue with Ouija boards are that they, they don't have any power. So let's not go there. But if you're gonna open up energetically to what's on the other side, you better know what you're doing. Sometimes Ouija boards, I think, can be, you know, let's just say not a great doorway to what could come through because remember, energy is not always about what's on the other side. There's a lot of energy that exists in this world that I would consider to be negative. And when we're opening up on a energetic, you know, in an energetic circle, like 3 or 4 people opening up to information around a Ouija board, it's not about the Ouija board. It's about the, coming together as a group and then opening up energetically to what's out there. And a lot of times if you open up the door, the negative can get in. So you just don't it's like why take the chance? That's how I look at it. Why take the chance? So I have an issue with Ouija boards, but I also have an issue with anything that would come across as mysterious or dark or um, you know, kind of have like a predisposition for something that is not positive. Because when you think of Ouija boards, we don't think positive. We think like, ghostly, um, scary, vi- you know, just dark. That's the way it comes across to me. So I would be like, I don't want to screw with that. So I'm not a big fan of them. Uh, Classic 1984. Can you strengthen intuition without meditation? Yes. You don't have to meditate. Listen, meditation helps you to clear your mind. That's all it does. It helps you to block out the daily noise. That's what meditation's about. But you don't need it to become more intuitive. You just got to be open. Um, and I just feel like if you, the best way a lot of times to get open is to meditate. And you don't have to do it like like a yoga stance with your fingers together and like humming. Meditation can be done through music. I like to listen to certain music when I meditate. And it's like it's a 4-minute song, and I'll do that 4-minute meditation, and that's it, I'm ready to go. So, you don't have to be, a guru meditator to get the benefits of meditation, but, you don't technically need it to, enhance your intuition. Craig's B90, what is it like to be open compared to normal day-to-day life? Well, as a medium, I'm always psychic, so that's open all the time. So I'm always getting information on a psychic level, but mediumship, I don't open it up unless I'm working. Like if I know I'm working tonight doing a reading, I'm prepping for that. I'm prepping to be open for that. But other than that, the door's shut. So if you're watching any other mediums on social media that are talking about, they can't go anywhere without somebody tapping them on the shoulder, or they can't walk in a parking lot without somebody coming through from somebody else that's there, like a stranger. That is all ego. All right. And it doesn't mean it's not happening. What it means is that you're basically crossing a barrier and you're crossing, I think, an energetic line. You'll hear people say it all the time. No, they didn't ask you to be read. So why are you tapping into their family on the other side? That's more of a you thing. That's a complete ego thing. There's no reason for that to happen. So for me, my day is very normal. It's just like anybody else's. There's no mystery to this, guys. It's not like TV and it's not like the movies. You're just a regular person just doing your thing. And then when you're working, you're working. That's it. No different. Boundaries are very important. Okay. Wildfire, you did my I'm gonna read what Wildfire wrote. 6 spots left for his Zoom group on 312 from 8 to 11. Thank you, Wildfire. Yeah, there's 6 spots left. So if anybody wants to be in the Zoom group, go check it out. Just hit the Stand Store link in this bio. If you're on TikTok, there's a Stand Store link is there as well. Okay. Yeah, I got 6 spots left. We had 8 last time I was on. So this happens every time. It slowly works its way down. Don't tempt me. Okay, Rich. Let's do a couple more questions. Sandy, I signed up. Good for you. I'll see you on the 12th then. Carol, do you believe we have a choice to reincarnate or not? I really do believe that when we get to the other side, it's not about choice. I think it's an automatic. It's like we have to keep coming back to learn lessons, and that's what we do here. We're here to learn lessons. So I don't think we go back as a human energetically and be like, oh, I'm so tired. This is such a long life. I got to go back now. Like, can we just do something later? Like, I don't think we act like that when we get to the other side. We are like all knowing and all powerful when it comes to our energy on the other side. We're no longer connected to the human body or this vehicle. So I don't think we think like humans. But everybody always wants to interpret as like we go to the other side like as a human and be like, all right, listen up, everybody. I had a really tough life and I'm kind of done with this and I'm not going back. All right. So just put me over there. I can work on something here. I don't have to go back. We don't think like that on the other side. So I do believe that we have an option or a choice to learn what lessons we need to learn. But then once we get here, it's about choice from that point forward. So it's how you want to learn the lesson or not, based on the choices that you make while you're here. I want to come back as my father's dog or not come back. I get that, Beth. It's not the case though, so don't. It's not happening. Yeah. Beyond Spirit Dog 11, how can we connect with our guides? You kind of do already every day. You just don't realize it. We make connections with our guides constantly. We just can't tell if it's a thought or a download. That's the only difference. That's as basic as I can make it for you. We get confused by information that we get in our heads because we're not recognizing that we're actually getting that information from them. So which we call a download. When we think of something, we'll go like, "Oh, I just thought of this," or "Oh, that's a good answer for what I was thinking about before," and we think that we did it. That's we have common sense, we have a brain, and we're using our brain. And we think that a lot of times we'll get information around stuff because we're thinking about it and we're kind of problem solving. But I'm here to tell you that sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you are getting the download from your guides. So, if you're at a fork in the road and you don't know if you should go left or right, sometimes they give us enough information to give us that confidence that if we choose left, it's the right move. So we are constantly communicating with our guides. We just don't realize it. We unfortunately as humans, we need that big boom feeling of like, oh, that's my guides. And that's not how they operate. They're very like subtle. It's very like, a feeling of like, oh, I don't know why, but suddenly I feel like I want to do this or I want to go this way, or it's not feeling like a good move for me. Maybe I shouldn't do it. That's them. That's not just you doing that. You're getting help from them, your higher self as well. And that's how we make our choices. But sometimes our human side takes over. Sometimes our human side really kicks in strong and we kind of, dig in and we're like, nope, not changing it, not happening. And then we realize later, like, ah, shit, I should have changed that. So, Miss Ange, 143, is there anything one should or can do to prepare for an in person live group reading? Yeah, just know your family. That's it. Know your family and friends as well as you can. Know your dates, know passings, cause of deaths. For me, especially when I do a reading, the factual information is very important, especially in the beginning of the reading. So the more you know about your family, how they passed, or connected dates around the family, anniversaries, birthdays, things like that, um, current people's ages, that's important too because that come through in a reading. Um, but yeah, how the people have passed, that's important because sometimes people say like, "Well, that was my grandfather, but I don't know exactly how he passed." So the more information you have about them, the more information they have access to give you in the reading, meaning like you can validate it. For me, I have to be able to validate the facts or else I can't move forward. So when I do a reading on here, I do the first part of what I would do, like say in a private, which is linking up with the energy that's coming through. Once I know I have them and they're for you, then I can get information around personality traits, who they were in life, how they may have done things. They might show me a story around the family that you can validate and say, yeah, that makes sense for me. But in the beginning, it really is tit for tat. It's very black and white. So the more you know about your family, the better. And the more open you are. And that doesn't mean like I want you to sit there with it, because sometimes people do this and it makes me nervous. Okay. But they sit there and they go, this is what they're doing while I'm like trying to read somebody, like, and in their head they're going like this. Come on, come on, come on, mom. Come on, mom. Don't do that. That's not good to do. When I mean open, I mean open to whoever could come through for you. Anybody you are tethered to in this lifetime that's passed has the option of coming through. So it might be an uncle that you did not like. It might be an in-law that you were not close with. It might be an ex that you did not have a great, ending with, that passed, but they're coming through. Those people have the option of coming through. Your job is to be able to validate it. We can't control who comes through. I know that I do that when I go on social media. I'll say, who do you want to connect with? I do not do that on the groups, and I do not do that on private readings. So whoever's coming through is coming through. I can't stop it. And I don't kind of like try to push it in a direction. So that's the best way you can go into a reading. Open mind is the best thing you can do. Because remember, when they give us information, guys, they give us past, present, and future. And most of the time, what we're validating is past and present because we can. We've already experienced it, or we're in the middle of experiencing it. So when somebody says something, we're like, oh, yeah, that just happened the other day. Boom, validation. But sometimes they give us information around the past. I'm sorry, around the future. So if past, present, and future are all happening at the same time, as far as they're concerned, because they have access to all of it, they could give us stuff that's going to happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. So immediately somebody will go like, no, I don't have that. Don't take on that mentality. Take on the mentality of, I don't know what that is yet, so I'm going to write it down. It keeps the energy moving in the right direction. Okay. Because a week from now, that could happen. And then you'll be able to go, oh, wait a minute. My mom said this was going to happen. How cool is that? My mom knew about it. So always stay open. Uh, Laura Rose, can our guides not be a family member? Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say most of them aren't. I've always been shown that our guides are energies that have either lived a life here or energies that are on the other side that have maybe not lived a life yet in this world. And when I say they haven't lived a life yet, I mean in this world. Okay. Um, but they're the ones that help us to get to where we need to go. They're the ones that give us the option for choices. They kind of lead us down the path of where we need to go. But at some point, we have to make a choice. We have to decide to go left or right. And I always tell people, if you take your foot and turn it a little bit to the left, it's not really a big deal. And if you turn a little bit to the right, it's not a big deal. But if you take 8 steps in either direction, it now creates a path. It's not the same anymore. It's now a direction and a path. Once we make that choice, I feel our family on the other side are our cheerleaders. So my point is that there's no right or wrong answer to something. There's just the short way around and then the long way around. So eventually we get to where we need to go, but sometimes it takes us longer. That's all, because we make a choice that maybe is the long way around. And a lot of people do it that way. It's hard to make a decision the right way the first time. You know, failure and wrong choices are how we learn. That's how we learn. And lessons are never easy. They're the things that are hard. So what might be easy for somebody else could be very, very difficult for you, which means you get more credit for it when it comes through and you do it. Some people have different things that they're afraid of, or different fear factors around stuff, like fear of confrontation, or the fear of what people are going to think. It's very, very difficult for that person to stand up for themselves and do what they need to do for themselves, right? But when they do, they get a lot more credit for it. So never compare yourself to somebody else, ever, because their lessons are not your lessons. Everybody's different. I knew somebody was going to ask that. Miss Andrews just asked, so there's other worlds out there? I think there is, yes. And one day I'm going to make a post on that, because I did a whole thing on that on here and it got screwed up on the well, we won't get into that, but I'm going to redo it again and I'm going to make a post out of it, but it'll explain in a much better way where you'll be able to go, oh, okay, I can see that now. All I have to say is 200,000 light years. But I will be making a post on it. Uh, okay, let's do one. Yeah, it would be hard to believe that, right, Letty? That we're the only ones. Hey, happy aura helpers. I'm going to answer this because it affects everybody. Starry eyed celestial. I know learning comes from hardship. Why does it have to be so hard and overwhelming? Um, if it was easy, it would not be a lesson. That's why it's hard. It's hard because it's the hard thing for us. Don't look at it as the lesson being hard. It's not. It's a mindset. It's hard because we think it's hard. It's hard because we feel it's difficult. Remember, somebody right next to you could be going like, "That's no big deal," and then just do it. But for us, it's hard. So when we look at the difficulties of things happening, it's usually because of choices we've made that brought us to where we are. I know that if I look at anybody and where they are in their lives, if I go back far enough in time, I can see the point where they went the 7 steps in the wrong direction. And it doesn't make it bad. It just means that it's easy to see. It's easy to recognize and know where the mistake was made, where the error was made, or the decision that was not finalized that would have made things easier or better for that person. So when you look at something, the older you get and you choose not to make a shift around something, the harder it gets. It just gets harder. So when we finally make a decision or a choice and we say, the heck with this, I need to do what's right by either me or the people connected to me or whatever it is that forces you into that direction, that's a difficult shift. But once it happens, once you've made that shift, things get lighter. I can promise you that. Amy, I need someone to help me figure out where I went wrong. Listen, we've all done it. We've all went wrong. There is nobody on this planet. Nobody. I don't care how psychic they are. I don't care how connected they are. There's nobody that has not made the wrong choice at some point around something. We've all got our lessons to learn. So you're not alone. So just know that. Um, thanks, Rach. Megan, if we want to try to attempt to connect to spirit on our own, how do you suggest we start? Y- Again, you're already doing it. You just don't realize it. You really are. Okay, when we talk to spirit, we're talking about spirit. I'm assuming you mean parents, grandparents, relatives, right? Friends that have passed. And we want to know like how do we make those connections with them? How do we know that they're the ones coming through and we're not just making it up, right? Well, clairsentience is feelings and emotions. That's one of the strongest clairs there is. It's the one that we connect with really well because we're human and we have a lot of empathy as humans. And because we have a lot of empathy, clairsentience is a very clear one. The problem is we're also human, and that's something that we feel. We have feelings and emotions as humans. So the question is it my feeling and an emotion, or am I downloading the feeling and an emotion? When somebody's coming through, they might do it in a way where you'll see a picture of them in your head, like a family member, because clairvoyance is kind of popular as well. It's a big clair. Um, the question is, are we thinking it or is it a download? And I'm going to just say, a lot of times it's not a download. It's not a thought. It is a download, and we just have to acknowledge it when it happens. Try to give it a little more credit. Like if you're watching a medium work, it's so much easier for a medium to connect with your family because they don't know your family. It's automatically black and white to them. It's objective. It's very, very hard to connect with your own family because you know their names, you know how they passed, you know a lot of information about them that kind of like makes it harder because it's like how are they going to do it? You know, how are they going to show up in a way? Symbols and signs are a great way to make those connections. You know, designate symbols and signs for your loved ones on the other side. Don't wait for them to show up. Designate them. Say from now on, this is going to represent you, or hey, this from now on is going to represent you. Designate symbols and signs for them. And then when they show up, please acknowledge them. That's the thing that people don't do. They'll go like, "Oh, that's the well, maybe that can't be. That's kind of coincidental." I know they're on the other side going like, "My God, like what do we have to do?" Like I know they're doing that. You know, it takes a lot of effort for them to make a symbol or sign show up that we designated. So for God's sakes, honor it when it happens. Okay, Megan. Yeah, I always convince myself it's my own thoughts. That's what most of us do, and that's the problem. They're not your thoughts. It's not always your thoughts. If I'll always say this, if you pick up something that was theirs and you go, "Oh, this was my mom's," that's a thought. If you're looking at a, photo album and there's a picture of them there, "Oh, okay, that's a thought." But if you're like doing a daily, routine that you normally do and it's like you're in the middle of doing it and then all of a sudden, boom, they pop in your head out of nowhere, that's not a thought. That's a download. Acknowledge that. Be like, "Hey, thanks for showing up." It's really that simple. Miss Ange, yeah, but you guys make fun of feathers and hummingbirds. No, we don't make fun of it. As a medium, I can make fun of it because to me, that's the obvious. But there could be 100 people that use hummingbirds or feathers. But for that individual person, it is their symbol and sign, which is fine. You're just not going to hear me talk about it because everybody has that. So it's kind of like, well, if I said, oh, they're showing me a hummingbird. Oh, yeah, that represents my mom. I'm like, no shit. Like everybody uses it. So that's why we don't use it. We like the weird stuff. We like the stuff that comes through that's like not the obvious, not the typical. So you're not going to hear about dragonflies from me or unless you have like a dragonfly tattoo, which they'll force it. Like they'll say like, say it again. I'm like, I'm not saying that. I sometimes have little arguments with them. Like, I'm not talking about dragonflies. They're like, no, bring it up. I'm telling you. I'm like, no, I'm not saying about dragonflies. And it's all of a sudden you have to go like, all right, listen, I don't want to talk about this, but your dad wants me to highlight the dragonfly. I have a tattoo of a dragonfly. Okay. That's why they're making me do it. And not because it represented anybody. They just have it. It's like something different, separate from that, you know? And it'll come through that way. But for me as a medium, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want those. I'm not gonna, I don't know. It's too general. Or jewelry. Your dad says you have his ring or his watch. Like, well, yeah, of course. Who else is gonna have it? So to me, it's kind of obvious. Hey, Sarah, everything's good. Taco rocks. Did you connect to spirit as a child? I'm gonna say in 6th and 7th grade, I was very connected on my own. Nobody knew about it. I was very connected, 6th and 7th grade. Then, like 8th and 9th grade kicked in, and I was more worried about you know, social aspects. So to me, that kind of like went dormant for a lot of years. I can look back at 7th grade and say I was getting a lot of information that way, through my guides and through spirit, but it kind of went away. And it's not because of anything I did wrong or anything like that. It's just other things happen in life. What are you going to do? And then it just kind of gets pushed away or dormant. And then it came back out again around like almost when I was 40. So there is hope for everybody here. Uh, hmm, I don't know, Kara. Does everyone have, okay. So Kara's writing, does everyone have a romantic mate they are supposed to meet, or are some people supposed to be alone? I think what you wrote. Okay. Um, I really it depends on the person. There's a lot of people that are we learn lessons by being connected to other people. And I know that every time you meet somebody in your life, there's a reason. So anytime one of my kids meet somebody new and they're like, "Oh, I just met this person today and I'm friends with them." Like, "What's their name? What's their birthday?" What's I want as much information on that person as possible. And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because there's a reason why you're meeting them." So you meet people in your life because there's something they're going to learn from you and there's something you're going to learn from them. And then sometimes we learn those lessons. And then when we do, we go our separate ways. Sometimes we don't learn the lesson. Sometimes we just go our separate ways. Sometimes we kind of stick with those people because we become dependent on them and they become dependent on us, but nobody's learning anything. And then there's those times when we are learning and they're not. So it's kind of like it's uneven at that point. Like we're growing on an energetic level and they're kind of still back here. So that causes a separation on an energetic level. But yeah, you meet people in your life based on what you need to learn. And again, if you're somebody that's wondering, "Hey, am I gonna meet that Mr. So and so, or am I gonna meet the Mrs. So and so in my life?" I'm gonna say, unless you're out there doing it actively, no. Too many times I've done readings for people and they're like, I'm like, "Okay, what do you wanna know about?" At the very end of the reading, I'll do like a psychic aspect, like in my 75-minute readings, I do, like mostly mediumship, and then the last like 15, 20 minutes or half hour, it's like psychic. Like, "What do you wanna know about you? What's going on around you?" And it's always that question, "Am I gonna meet the person that I'm supposed to," and I always say the same answer, "Are you on social media?" And they're like, "No, not really." I'm like, "Are you on any apps?" Like social media apps or social apps, like, dating apps. They're like, "No, no, I don't do any dating apps." I'm like, "Okay. Do you do any kinda like social functions where you're gonna meet people or, cross people on your paths?" Like, "No, I don't really do that either." I go, "Okay, so you're basically sitting home in a living room with a Pepsi and potato chips, and you wanna know if you're gonna meet Mr. Right." And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You already know the answer to that. If you don't put yourself out there, nothing's gonna happen." We're not here to have things happen to us. Nobody's going to fall out of the ceiling and land on our laps like, "Hey, this is great." No, we have to be actively out there. We have to be doing it. We have to be connected to it. You have to give them the options to set things up for us that you can meet certain people in your life. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Now, who you meet is up to you. Who you connect with is completely up to you because you might pull in the same energy all the time. If you're a fix it person, you're going to pull in the energies that need fixing. So be aware of that. If you're a strong individual, you're gonna pull in people that will allow you to be in charge. That's what ends up happening. Cheese ruffles? Sorry. Sorry, dainty. Cheese ruffles. My apologies. Dabs, no more fixing. Beyond spiritual dog, have you heard of anyone asking a dying loved one to send a particular sign, and did it work? I'm gonna suggest you don't ever do that. There's a lot of people that talk to me about having, like, a pact with somebody. Like before they die, they'll say, "All right, if I die, I'm going to send you this." And I'm like, "Okay, then you'll know it's me." Don't ever do that. Like if you're older and you have kids, don't do that with them. Don't don't designate the symbol because I've heard story after story after story where we become like so narrow-minded with the symbol because that's the one my mom said was going to happen. That all changes once we pass. It's like mom saying to you before they pass, "Promise me you're going to take care of your brother." "Okay, mom, I promise I'll take care of my brother." And then for the rest of your life, you're feeling like, "Oh my God, I promised my mom I gotta take care of my brother." No, you don't. No, you don't. You're not bound by those requests. That was a human being making that request. The human being is no longer here anymore. Therefore, null and void. Null and void. You're not required to follow through with that. You have to do what's right for you. Okay. So when it comes to symbols and signs and they say, "Hey, I'm going to send you this," that is a human being saying that to you, not a spirit. So what happens is now that's all you're looking for. You're looking for that one thing. You could have 100 things come through in a reading and you won't give a shit because you want that one thing. So don't do that to yourself and don't do that to the family connected to you. That's what I would suggest. Okay. Good. Mr. BS Automotive. I feel like you just set me free. Good. I'm glad. There's a very big difference between humans and spirit. As a request as a human, it is no longer bound once we pass. You're not obligated. Because as a human, a mom might be concerned about one of her kids, and she might put the burden on another kid and say, "Oh my God, promise me you're gonna take care of them," right? But when the mom passes, they're no longer thinking like that. Don't worry, like if you say, "Oh my God, I promised my mom I would take care of my brother, but he's such an asshole. Like I don't want to take care of him. Like he's so hard to deal with, and he's making me miserable." That's a no. That's a no. So don't worry about it. They're not looking down, going like, "Oh my God, she said she was going to take care of him. She's not listening. I'm going to hit her with lightning." They don't do that. They don't do that. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like they realize, like, hey, she's got her own lessons to learn. She's dealing with her own stuff. I didn't realize all that when I was alive, but now I'm on the other side and I know everything. So it's not an issue. She's got to deal with what she's got to deal with. And that brother has to deal with what he has to deal with. So they know that there's lessons being learned on both sides once they pass. So don't worry about it. And I'm not saying make decisions that are, selfish, but self-centered? Absolutely. You have to be in a good place for you, not everybody else. I will say that till I leave this planet. Hello, Knight 31. Good evening from North Carolina. Good evening from New York. Laura. So finally, my brother is not my mother's favorite. Hallelujah. No, definitely not. They don't have favorites. I mean, they might have had them when they were here, and that could come through in a reading, by the way. Like, oh, they were saying that that was their favorite. Yeah, that was their favorite one. But it's only because as a human, it's to validate it's the mom coming through or the dad coming through because they had the favorite when they were here. But on the other side, they don't have favorites. They're connected to all of us. That's funny. Tammy, that's cool. We were all our parents' faves. So my son will say to me on a regular basis, he'll be in the kitchen and he'll go like, "Hey, dad, who's your favorite kid? And tell me why it's me." I was like, "I don't have a favorite." He's like, "You gotta have a favorite." I was like, "I don't have a favorite. I have 4 kids. They're all very different." I don't think anybody could have got 4 different kids. They are so different. It's not even funny. And I love each one of them for who they are. I've learned to like look at that person as an individual, not as a child, but as an individual and say, I love them because of this. And I love them because of that. And I'll look at the next one. I love them because of this. And I love them because of that. Now, do I have those moments where I say, my God, I can't stand this one because of this and because of that? Absolutely. We all do. Absolutely. There's not one of my kids that don't know that from me, but they know I love them unconditionally. They know I love them. But yeah, I've got my moments where you just want to be like, what was I thinking? Like, oh my God, I just threw up the bathwater. Uh, it's fun, right? Yeah. Why do kids, so you all dealt with that. Why do kids do that? Why do they put their like parents in that position? Like, who's your favorite? Like, why would you want to know that? Like, what if it's not you? Then what? What do you do then? It's not cool. Every kid's got their pluses and their negatives. That's all. That's all they have to know, right? They got their pluses and their negatives. Rach, it's me. Of course it's you. Are you an only child? Mm. No? Okay, good. I'm just teasing. Uh, all right, all right, wanna do one more question, and then I'm gonna do a reading, okay? Actually, we'll do two questions because this is important. Sarah, do you think past life regressions are helpful? Do I think they're helpful? I think they're very interesting. I do believe in it. If you're dealing with certain phobias, sometimes you can get answers around that. Like it might be a past life thing. Sometimes it's not, but you can get information around that or answers. So I have no problem with past life regression. I've done it. I did it a long time ago. It didn't answer any questions for me, but it gave me clarity on certain things. Oh, cool, Laura. I hope to see you in Pennsylvania in September. Awesome. Hope to see you too. Yeah, if you guys aren't aware, in September I'm going to be in uh, I'm going to be doing a live group in Long Island, Melville, and then I'm going to go the next day to New Jersey, Meadowlands, and then the next day I go to Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and then the last one is in Baltimore, Maryland, and then I'll be adding more. It's just the first few that I'm going to. I haven't done them in a long time, so yeah, if you're interested in that, just go to the Stan Store link in my bio. I have not put it out there yet. I'm not sending out my mailing list until the end of March for that. So I do have them posted already for people on, on social media. If they want to get a seat, they can go check it out. It'll be a 3-hour event, live readings, maximum of 60 people. That's it. I keep them tight. Um, and then what I'll probably do is I'm probably going to add on north. So I'll do like Boston, Chicago, um, Syracuse, New York. Um, what else? Boston, Chicago, Syracuse. Where else I used to go? I used to go to Milwaukee. There's a couple other places. I'll figure it out. Yeah, Florida's in there too. It's in my chamber. That's how I'm working it out. Got to figure it out. I used to go Florida. I used to go to Tampa, Miami, um, not Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Miami, and God, where I used to go? Palm Springs, I think. I used to go to Palm Springs. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since I've done live groups. Yeah, Megan. Megan just said, can connections to spirits be physical feelings as well? Like feeling how they passed. Example, chest pains. Yes, that can happen a lot. Sometimes if I feel like somebody's like, I've had times where I felt like I was missing a leg, like my leg wasn't there. And then you find out that somebody was, missing a leg or they were paralyzed on that side. It's the same feeling. But they can definitely come through with different feelings, chest pain. I prefer if they don't do that, to be honest, because if I do this every day, I don't want to be feeling like I'm dying every 10 minutes. So that's a big no for me. Okay. So again, I don't like them. I don't like being touched, and I don't like being made to feel what they felt. You'll hear some mediums talk about that. You know, um, I don't like it. They can show you what they went through without having to feel it. You know, they can show you that. So through clairsentience, you can get the feeling of what happened. They'll show you the pictures of like a scenario, and then they'll give you a feeling or a spot, um, and then you can kind of get it that way. You don't have to feel it. Feel it. All right, let's do one more question. We're doing good on time, so. Mm. Hi, Lynn. Mhm. All of a sudden, we have no questions. Uh, Western New York. Okay, Rich. We'll make a note. Marie, how do we get on a mailing list? Just go to the Stand Store link in my bio. Everything's there. Just click on the Stand Store link. It'll take you right to everything. I have private readings in there. I have group reading coming up on March 12th. Like I said before I started the live tonight, there were 6 seats left. It's only a 10-person Zoom group. And then I have individual live events coming up. And then toward the bottom of the Stand Store, you'll see my YouTube channel. Sign up, which if you haven't done that already, you're on here. And then there's my newsletter. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get notified of everything that I do. So that's the best thing I would say. If you get a chance to do that, just go sign up for the newsletter, and then I'll be able to, contact you when I'm like in your area, or if I have an event coming up around you, or if I'm doing anything online. No, it's not snowing here. This is done 67. It is not snowing. We are done. Hopefully, it's going to be warm this week. I have all the guys getting back to work this week. It's like, all right, break's over. Ooh, that's a great question, Stacy. Are special needs children here to teach us, or is it part of their lessons? I'm going to say they're here to teach us. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to say they're here to teach us. I don't think it's part of their lesson. Oh, okay. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Let's do a reading, okay? So, what I'm asking you to do, if you've been on here before, if this is your first time on here, give me a follow. Please subscribe to my channel. I will be going live here on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Unless something changes, then I'll put out a little post letting you know, like, hey, it might be 10 p.m. tonight or whatever. But this is my designated time now on Sunday nights. Okay. So I'll see you guys on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll do the same thing we're doing here. I'll get a topic, talk about some stuff, go back and forth. I like this platform. I really do. I mean, I'm on TikTok a lot, but my problem with TikTok is on an energetic level, I am psychic. So I do feel the rotation. There's a lot of rotation on TikTok. So when you see like 400 people on there or 500 people on there, which is happening, that's what happens when you go live on TikTok. It's really not 400, 500 people. It's like 43,000 people because when you look at the analytics, it'll show at any given time it's between 4 and 500, but they're constantly rotating. The average person watches like a minute and a half to 2 minutes and then they get out, but then somebody else comes in. So when you're trying to set the mood for, the topics or the reading that might be coming up, it's like people pop in out of nowhere, like, "Hey, what's going on here? My name's Bob. What's this all about?" It's like it just disrupts the energy, and it feels like this to me. This is what it feels like. It's like coming at me like that. So here, I feel like when people go on the live, they kind of stay on the live. It's a lot different. It feels different, has a different energy to it. So I really do like it here. I prefer to go live here more often. So if you guys join me when I go live, it'll be great. Okay. And maybe get the word out. That'd be awesome too. All right. Yep. Okay. So you're already doing it. Just write who you want to connect with, like mom, dad, son, brother, whoever. I'm going to randomly pick somebody. Okay. And then we're going to read them because we can only do it on the chat here. Everybody, if you can cooperate, that would be awesome. If once I pick somebody, I need you to stop typing. Okay. You can watch, you can like sleep, you can do whatever you want. But once I pick somebody, it's very slow in the chat and my brain moves very quick. So it's hard to like slow it down for the reading on the chat. But if I do pick you, don't panic. Because as soon as I pick somebody and they're like, oh my God, that's me. And they're trying to type back, yes. And it's like, just don't panic. Take your time. We don't care what anybody thinks. Watch my posts. We don't give a shit. We're just going to do what we got to do. Okay. All right. So just write down who you want to connect with. Okay. I got it already. Sarah Jones 4576 wrote dad. Sarah Jones, dad. I need Sarah Jones to write back yes in capital letters. I need everybody else to stop typing temporarily. You can hit the hearts if you want. I just need Sarah Jones to write back yes in capital letters. Okay, Sarah Jones just wrote back, yes, you have just signified that we are going to make a link. Hopefully, we're going to get dad to come through. Sarah, stay really open though. Okay. What's been happening a lot lately is I don't get the person they're asking for, I get somebody else, but then it kind of pulls the person in. So just pay really close attention to what I'm saying. All I need you to do is validate what I'm saying. If certain things require more than a yes and a no, please do it when you answer. Don't worry about it. As long as it's making sense, what I'm saying, and you can validate it, you can put it where it needs to go. Okay. All right, hold on. Uh, okay, so Sarah, first thing I'm feeling is I have a kind of a like a quick passing. This is feeling like kind of fast around the mail. So if it's not dad, but pay close attention, it's definitely older male. So father, grandfather, uncle, they're making me feel like here and gone, kind of fast passing. Not a lot of a chance to, not a lot of a chance, not a chance to kind of let people know what's happening or they're caught off guard. Does that make sense? That part would be yes or no. Okay, yes. All right. And then he's telling me that there's a connection to the 24th of a month, and it doesn't have to be around him. It's got to make sense around you or the family. He showed me 24 having a meaning, like a birthday or an anniversary around the 24th of a month. And take your time on that. If you don't know what it is, just be like, I don't know what that is. And then just write it down. That's dad's birthday. Okay. So he's screaming out at me 24, 24. Just know that's his way of coming through to validate it's him. Okay. Um, he wants me to talk about who's Jim, who's James, who's James for you. So right now I'm reading Sarah Jones, your nephew. Okay. So dad's making a reference to James living. So he's saying hello to him. And he also wants me to talk about James is either connected to the teacher, um, older than who's the teacher around James? Who's like the person that works in a school? His latest grandson is James also? Okay. So Sarah, if there's more than one, um, or no, we're talking about the same James. That's his grandson, your nephew. Okay. You would be the teacher? No, no, no. If you just left, that's okay. You did it for a living. You're the teacher. That's dad's way of saying hello to you because I already know you're Sarah. Okay. So he's making a reference to Jim or James connected to you here living. And he's also talking about being connected to the teacher, which is you. Okay. And it didn't matter if you were a teacher 20 years ago, you're a teacher in my mind. That's his way of saying hello to you. And he's also telling me to talk about JoJo. Who's JoJo? He wants me to reference JoJo, like a name that repeats itself. Now, because we're on chat, if it's not JoJo, it's a name that repeats. It's a name that repeats. So it's like Boo Boo or Lulu or JoJo, like that. But he's showing me my symbol for repetitive. But I saw it with a J. So I could be off with that, but he's showing me like the name that repeats itself. So I don't know if it's a nickname for somebody or name repeats his name and my son. Okay. Just know he's talking about the name that repeats itself. I named my son after him using middle name. Um, I don't know if that's what I'm getting. Hold on a second. They would have to be called that twice. I'm not talking about somebody having the same name as somebody else, like repeating. I'm talking about somebody's called by something, but it repeats, like JoJo or Lulu or Gigi, like that. Like it's a repetitive name. It could be a nickname or a name, but it definitely repeats. Okay, that's okay. Perfect answer. Not sure. That's what I want. Just write down repetitive name, like either a nickname or a name. And he's talking about, and where would be Kevin for you? Kevin or Kenny? It's like Ke, Kevin or Kenny connected to you. This feels like a you connection. And if you're not used to me, how I read, just think in your circle, Kevin or Kenny connected to you. Okay, that's okay. Not coming to you, that's alright. Uh, okay, now I need to back up what he's showing me, hold on. And where would be the Virgo? He's telling me to wave to Virgo around you. So end of August, beginning of September birthday, somebody living as well. So August 22nd to September 21st, Virgo living. That's you? Okay. So I'm going to say this again. I asked him to give me something to back it up. So you're the Virgo. He's telling me connected to you. You were or could have been connected to a Kevin or Kenny. That's why I said it's like around you, not necessarily family, but it's your connection. So at some point, he's showing me you connect to a Kevin or Kenny. He's using the Virgo to back it up because you're the Virgo. So think in your circle, okay? So it could have been like somebody you dated at one point or somebody you worked with, somebody at work, like a Kevin or Kenny, but he specifically put it in your circle, which means it's not necessarily family, okay? Um, and would you know if dad would have a German Shepherd with him, like a German Shepherd or Husky type dog? I would take a collie in this mix. I'll put this in here since we're in a chat. But he's telling me he has that particular type dog with him, connect to the family past. Yes? Okay. And he's also telling me to bring up he wants me to talk about a classic car. Husky, perfect. Okay, so he's got the Husky with him, and he's telling me to bring up a classic car. Somebody having like an old car that they keep new, or they redid it, or they had it redone, or they just kept it new as old. But it doesn't feel like a new car. It feels like an old sports car, like an old car, but kept it new, like a '68 or a 1970 something Chevelle or a Monte Carlo or a Mustang, old car. Okay, hold on. Sarah said, no, that's fair. You sure? Go to this side where, okay, who would John be for you around you, Sarah? If dad said go to like where John is, who would be John for you? First name or middle name around John? I would take Jack. John or Jack are the same name. So think like John or Jack, first name or middle name. His great grandfather, okay, hold on, is John. They keep bringing up the car, like an old car. His grandfather was John. Okay, so that'd be a way of him saying he's got his grandfather with him. But also, there's a feeling like on that side of the family, somebody having an old car that was kept new or they held on to it for a really long time. I don't know if it's like a Thunderbird or it's old, but just remember I'm saying that. And on that side of the family, on dad's side of the family, who worked in food? He's telling me on that side of the family, somebody worked in the food industry as well. So either his sister, okay, perfect. She's passed too, right? She's living. Okay, hold on. My error. Hold on. Wait, does he have a sister that's passed though? 'Cause I feel like he's got a sister. Think sister. No, this is around his sister. Okay, I got it. Okay, but I think his mom might have done something with food. Okay, if that works out or pans out, it's just dad's way of validating he's coming through. But he does have a female on his level with him. Um, So for me, that would be like sister, sister-in-law, or wife, but he's being like female with him, past on his level, or cousin. Remember I'm saying that, and he's talking about the Carolinas. I don't know what the connection is around the Carolinas, but he's showing me the Carolinas. Hi, if you're on here watching, I'm just doing a reading for Sarah Jones, 4576, making a connection with her dad. We're just trying to validate some information that's coming through. We do the Outer Banks list. Oh, okay. You did it last summer? Okay. He's got I don't know what this is. Hold on. Would you say your dad was not a person that dealt well with confrontation? He makes me feel like he did not deal well with confrontation. Almost like he avoided it, or he tried not to have it. But he has a feeling of either blowing up or walking away from it. So if your dad got flustered very easily, or he would get like defensive. So he's making me feel like he could not have the conversation without an argument. He could not have the blowing up for short. Okay. He's just showing me like his personality was like very difficult when it came to like how he dealt with things. If he ever felt like he was being attacked, he would literally or feeling like he's insecure. I don't know how else to put it, but he has an insecure feeling. So regardless of how he would come across on the outside, on the inside, he feels very insecure to me that he would either, like I said, blow up or walk away from an argument. And he's shown me that that was one of his downsides, like the feeling of like not being able to deal with that. But he has a lot of love on the inside. I just don't feel like he was allowed to express it when he was younger. Do you know if he had a good relationship with his dad? Because this feels to me like he didn't. Um, and I could be wrong with that, but that's how it's making me feel. He did not. Okay, that's how he's making me feel. Like he's showing me like I did not have a good connection with my dad, and he didn't learn certain things that he needed to learn. But your dad was very emotional. He was like afraid to use it. What ends up happening with those kind of energies, they end up putting like a wall around their heart. So the people that they do care about and love, it's almost like they forgot how to express it, or how to show it in a way that would work, or be confident enough to be able to express their love without having to feel like they're giving a piece of themselves up, or they're exposing themselves too much. So he's kind of making me feel like right now he wants to give you like a lot of love, because I feel like he was afraid to do it while he was alive. I hope that's making sense, because that's how it's feeling. And do you know if somebody got in trouble for having a pistol without a license? If you want me to talk about, or somebody having guns without a license, like there's a feeling of having like uh, a gun, or somebody having a gun. Doesn't mean him, but he's talking about the story or the reference to somebody having like a weapon or a gun without a license. And again, certain states you don't need a license, but not that you know of. Okay, so in New York, you need a pistol license to have a pistol. So if you inherit pistols, you can't just keep them. You have to register them, or give them to somebody who has a pistol license to hold for you. But he's making me feel that, like a feeling of like somebody getting like a pistol or a gun handed down. That should be like registered. Somebody has an illegal weapon. That's what he's showing me. So remember I'm saying that, okay? And Kenny, it's making sense for you too? Cool. But remember I'm saying that. it's like something about like somebody having a weapon or a pistol that was not registered or nobody knows about it. And Sarah, just to validate his dad, were you ever bit by a dog? He wants to talk about somebody being like bit by somebody was bit by a dog. Like there's a story around it. Yes? Okay. He's just showing me that story around you. It's again to validate that he's coming through to say hi. And you want to get a new car, but you can't. You want to get a new car. Like you just talked about getting a new car or wanting to get a new car, but you can't yet. I don't know why, but there's a feeling of like wanting to get a new car, but you can't get it yet. And he's kind of making me feel like it's yes? Okay. Can you tell me what that is? Okay, I just got this card 2 years ago and car 2 years ago and I'm ready for a new one, but it's not gonna happen. Okay, that's it. He's making feel like, "Yeah, you want a new car, but it can't happen yet, like, it's not happening." So he's laughing at you, okay? Sarah, please know that's his way of coming through to say hi, okay? I hope this helped a little bit. And again, the biggest, takeaway from what he was showing me around you is he does have a lot of love. He had a lot of love. I just don't feel like he knew how to express it in a way that would kind of like in a way that you would need it. That's the feeling I have. Okay. It's like knowing now on the other side, like, oh, this is what she needed, but I didn't know how to do that. This is not what I was capable of, based on his programming and how he was brought up. Okay. So just know he's giving that energy to you now. So take it. And you're allowed to ask him for help. He will help you. All right. All right. Cool. You're welcome. Good. I'm glad that helps a little bit. And thank you for being awake. That's funny. Yeah, and again, if you're on here for the first time watching, this is what we do. So, readings are, they have to be validated. Information has to be factual. Sometimes it comes across a little clinical, but I rather be clinical than, all about emotion and no facts, because that doesn't mean anything. It happens all the time, and I watch it constantly, and it drives me nuts. So to me, I have to stick to the facts, so we actually know we have that person coming through. All right. And once we do that, like if I do a private reading for somebody, that's how it starts off. This is literally how it starts off. And then we kind of break it down and go into other things, and other people can come through and say hi. And, you know, it usually runs pretty smooth, I have to say. Thanks, Craig. You too. So what I'm going to say is this again, I have a Zoom group coming up on March 12th. If anybody's interested in being a part of that, go check out the Stan Store link in this bio. I put it first now so you can see it. All right. And we have a lot of fun in the Zoom groups, and I always go over the time limit. So it's a 3 hour Zoom group. So make sure you're awake for it. Um, it's important to be awake for a Zoom group, but I always tell people it never ends. Just because I read you doesn't mean it's over. Okay. So just be aware of that. And hopefully I'll see some of you there. If not, I will see you next Sunday night on here, 9 p.m. Beyond Spirit Dog. How many are in a Zoom group? 10. 10 people maximum. And I do read everybody. Yes, hold the ambient. Definitely hold the ambient. All right, guys. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. And you guys have a great week. Okay. Stay positive.